Yeah, it must have been absolutely terrifying indeed to be, God-fearing people and having all the lands around you shaking to that extent violently. This is a view of it's a view south of Glenlednock from Craig Tarsoon, I think it was, and that was back in February 22, 15th of February 22. I was up there in the snow, but it gives you a fine view over the land which is most affected by the violent earth tremors, and well, we could call them earthquakes, but of course there was no seismology to speak about in those days, so most people didn't really know what the hell was going on. It's very, very strange, but it was not until the 1840s that the first modern seismometer was invented, and in Comrie we popped up at a place called Earthquake House. It's still there. It was actually revamped in 1988. It had been redundant since the year 1911, but it's fully functional, and it does measure, seismology, not just in Strathearn but throughout the world. And you will get the British Seismology Centre will pick up on any activity worldwide, but so does Earthquake House in Comrie. But it's strange, but this is the first dedicated earthquake observatory in the entire world. And believe it or not, the house you see, which was a gift from Mr. Drummond of Drummond, apparently, handed it to the seismology people free of charge. Earthquake House is actually the smallest listed building in the whole of Europe. So it's quite a thing to say that in Comrie, just west of Comrie, sitting on the fault line, Highland Faultline, is not only the smallest listed building in Europe, but also the first dedicated earthquake observatory anywhere on the globe. That's it must have been entirely frightening for the residents of Strathearn. I've mentioned some of the locations which were affected badly, but as far as Drummond Castle and towards Upper Monee, all felt these tremors, not just in 1789, I have to say, but for a couple of years. It was pretty bad up until about 1791. It comes in stages. There was another batch of them which occurred quite violently during the 19th century as well. But these were particularly bad because there was such devastation and such changes with the rock falls and stuff, and it must have been absolutely terrifying, especially if you were on the banks of Ochtertyre Loch, known as Loch Moniverde. It would have been awful to witness the waters racing back and forth as the land shook. And most of the information available is handed down orally. There wouldn't be a lot of written document on the experiences held by many of the residents in West Strathearn. But Comrie to this day, still the people have earth tremors, and I've spoken to a lot of people when I was working as a field worker back in the 80s for the local council, and lots of interviews. One of the questions I've mentioned before actually, but one of the questions was, have you ever experienced an earthquake tremor? And 100% of the people, or at least of all the people I asked the question to, 100% of those asked the question gave a yes. So it's just an interesting little subject. It's very strange. I was just putting a lot of information about the Loch Ernhead Hotel fire, which was on the 5th of November 1982, And I mentioned the 10th of November was the publication of the photograph associated with that fire, which came from the Stirling Observer. And lo and behold, the very exact dates tie in with this particular upload, i.e. the 5th of November and the 10th of November. So I thought that was quite a odd synchronicity, but there we go, that's just a coincidence there. But anyway, we shall leave it at that, and hopefully that's been of some interest to somebody who may or may not have known about the events that I've described.